I'm Joseph Brooks, and this is Lawyer in the Kitchen. Welcome to Lawyer in the Kitchen. Today we're going to cook a brisket, and we're going to do it on a green egg, so it's going to smoke, and it's going to be at a temperature of 205 degrees for 16 hours. I've seen everybody go from temperatures from 185 to 250, 350 for different hours, but this temperature, in my opinion, works, and you don't really have to worry about the internal temperature. Even that, there's controversy on what it should be, anywhere from 185 to 205 to 195. We're going to cook this for 16 hours at 205 on a green egg, and whatever internal temperature it is going to be. Alex, let me talk to you about this thing. First of all, have you ever heard where the term brisket comes from?
No.
Well, surprisingly, when I looked this up, brisket is actually a lawn dart game in the 16th century in England.
Really?
No, not at all. Not at all. Alex, where did you go? I looked this up. You can't get there are as many descriptions of where this term came from. It's the breast of an animal. There's some agreement on that. Whether it's mid 14th century French or whether it comes from the Norse word, it's kind of funny. Anyhow, it's the plate. It's the plate. It's not a lawn dart game in 16th century England, but we're going to cook it like it is, and we're going to cook it until it's done. So we're going to look at this brisket, and some people carve this thing up until there's nothing but literally a 1/4 inch of fat on it entirely. The argument is that that's the only way the smoke gets into the meat, but in my opinion, like this here, I'm going to cut that off a little bit because it gets hard. So we're going to take a little of that off. Some of it goes on the floor so you can slip on it later. Hey, if you need a good lawyer, you slip in the kitchen. Anyhow, some of this somehow I'm going to leave this on here because this is just going to be flavor. It's going to keep it moist. Here's a little heavy area right in here. But not bad. In fact, I don't think that's worth taking off. We're going to leave that. All right, so if I can get Mrs. Brooks to come in here and mix the rub that we're going to make, we're going to do that next. So what I'd like you to do is mix the rub, and we want a total of 1 cup. Okay, so here we're going to do this. We're going to go ahead and put this brisket now on a pan because that'll stop some of this stuff. You gonna mix this up or not? Oh my gosh, that's pretty good. All right, so we're just gonna sprinkle it on here about like that. Save enough for the half. And this is why they call it a rub. Just rub this in. We just want a 205 degree fire, no more than that. So we don't want this getting very hot. That's the hardest thing to do, is to get that temperature controlled. We're going to put the place setter on here because we want indirect heat, but it'll be direct smoke. And to keep this moist while it's going, we're going to put apple juice. So now it's time, we're just going to put this thing on here. That looks good. And it's a good thing to come out here and check, maybe at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. If you can find somebody to do that. Because I'm not doing that. Okay, it's been 16 hours. We started this last night at 10 o'clock. It's right at 2 o'clock right now. We're going to see what it's been at 2:05 the whole time, and we're going to see what this brisket looks like after 16 hours of cooking. You ready? I think that's going to be all right. Next thing to do is get these probes out. Wrap this brisket up. Then we're going to put towels around it and put it in a cooler so that we can let this rest for anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. And it'll be just as hot, or almost as hot as it is right now. Let's see what this looks like. What do you think? Look at that.
Oh, that's a winner.
How's that? Here,